All right. So who wants to give the elevator synopsis for this sucker?
Let's give it to Jack. That's me.
Wow. All right, Jack, it's on you.
I don't know how many years after the original Halloween. Is it 40?
40.
Michael Myers is in prison, a giant checkerboard prison. And this two podcasters go to visit him to study him for their true crime podcast. And they have his original mask, which they show to him and causes some stir in the old prison. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode has been living a tortured life where she has been preparing for the day that Michael escapes, and training and shooting guns and learning survival skills and basically being Sarah Connor, preparing for the return of the Terminator. And this has made her family relationship strained. So her daughter and her granddaughter kind of live a weird existence where she's in and out of their lives because she's kind of nutty. And then lo and behold, at some point, Michael actually does escape from prison. And the two are on a collision course that is littered with bodies on Halloween night.
There you go.
Nice.
Thank you, Shape. So, Jason, what did you think?
I liked this movie a lot. I didn't love it. I was expecting... I don't know how much of it's hype because I was so excited for this movie.
Oh, we were ridiculous all year waiting for this.
Nothing short of perfection would have lived up to my expectations. But particularly when we get into spoilers, there are going to be some things I need to bring up. But I liked it a lot. I thought this was maybe the best looking Michael Myers. I thought they absolutely nailed the mask. I thought they did a great job with his movements, and it felt like the original in a lot of ways. Just a little updated. I thought that was great. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was great. I thought the cast in general was good. When they put humor in, I thought it worked. I thought some of the kills were amazing. I would put this up there as the second best Halloween movie. That doesn't take all that much.
No, the bar is pretty low on that.
I liked it a lot.
A lot. Jockey?
Very similar in that I don't think it's the greatest movie ever, but I enjoyed myself. There's some flaws in it, but as far as Halloween movies go, I like the first one. I like the second one, but I haven't seen the second one since whenever the hell it came out. I watched it a couple of times, but never revisited it. I watched the rest of them. I don't even know if I saw the last couple. But that is a franchise that I'm like, wow, the first one was one of the greatest movies ever made, and then most of the rest of them are kind of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, so again, I would put this as like second or third in the lineage, and I'm glad they got rid of all the other stuff and did this. There's some problems with it, but I was entertained the whole time. And what I really liked about this movie was the first 2/3 of the movie or first third of the movie. I don't know. There's a while before Michael gets his mask, and they don't really show his face much, but you get glimpses and the back of his head. When he's killing like that out in the daylight and all that, it's awesome. He's this terrorizing machine of a killer.
Old man.
Yeah.
He's got that old man strength big time.
And there's some really great kills in this movie. There's a lot of good gore. Yeah. And there's a mountain of Easter eggs in this movie, nods. So overall, I thought it was a fun movie and good enough, but not like, nothing that I'm like, oh my God, I got to go get the 4K Blu-ray of this and buy a new TV.
Right. Yeah. Here, in baseball analogies, I wanted a grand slam. I expected a home run. I got a hard liner to left and then a stolen base standing and stranded on second. So I liked it.
That was long and apt.
I liked it. there are so many ways that they failed in this movie. It just boggles my mind. There were just so many simple things they could have done. I understand these people. They got the vibe, the feel. I mean, right off the bat, you've got the same kind of credits. You got Akkad's son is producing it, so there's that connection there. But then there were some elements of this that I was just scratching my head. I think they cast their net too wide, so they had these ancillary things that you really didn't have a connection with or give a shit about. But it was just to create a body count, which that's not what Michael Myers is really about. If you're going back to the original, he's not really about a huge body count or gore. There's no gore in the first one whatsoever. Yep. So I think they ultimately, I don't know, caved into some sort of pressure and maybe didn't follow through on the story as they should have. It is enjoyable. It was a fun time. The last 15 minutes, I know that the audience, who I got the feeling was starting to fall asleep, came alive for the last 15 minutes and really enjoyed it. But like I said, I liked it. And I was hoping it would be like the movie of the year.
No, I'm with you. I liked it. I didn't love it. The biggest thing, again, I have to save some of it for spoilers, but you mentioned that they added a bunch of stuff in that I thought it went nowhere. So many characters have quite a few lines and quite a bit to do with the first half are gone in the second half. They're not dead. Nothing happened to them. They just never come back.
Yeah, why were they ever there to begin with?
Why were they even in the movie? I don't know. He wasn't the sheriff. I don't know who he was. The black guy with the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He seemed to be on the same level as the sheriff, but I didn't know who he was or what he was doing. But he was in the movie quite a bit at the beginning. Gone.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be seen later on. What happened to him?
Cutting room floor. He's laying there right now.
Yeah, the boyfriend. Huge part of the first half of the movie. Nothing to do with the second half.
We can talk about the boyfriend and spoilers. I can tell you exactly why he was in that movie.
Okay.
Because that's my thing. If you studied the first was a small cast. So you had enough. You could build around that small cast. When you start expanding outward, and you're trying to throw everything in, that's when you lose it every single time. And nobody, I don't know, maybe people just don't sit and watch a film and write down how it works.
I don't 100% agree with you guys on there was way too many characters. It didn't bother me that the cowboy hat guy didn't come back, because I think that the movie started wide, and then as the movie progressed, it started to zoom in on the main characters. And like in real life, some people are in the room for part of the time, and then they go off and they're not exposed. Oh, I wasn't there when that happened. I was only there for the beginning part of this, so that was never like dwelling with me as far as a problem with the movie.
See, like the babysitter who said to her boyfriend, "I'm going to dry fuck you." I felt like I got dry humped. I didn't get exactly what I wanted, kind of what I wanted.
Can we talk about her as my favorite character in the movie?
I can't imagine why.
Second favorite character. You got to give it to that little boy.
The little boy is actually the best one.
Character of the year in
Kid President.
Movie.
Yeah, but that was one of my problems. I thought he was a great character in any movie but this movie.
I loved him.
It was too fun and entertaining for you.
Well, no, I think what they were trying to say, and everything is done on purpose in the movie, is saying that there's no innocence left. Because there's, like, the kids in the first movie they're popping popcorn comic books, getting scared at Forbidden Planet. This kid is a foul-mouthed, probably future pimp. So I had a feeling they were trying to tell us something there about how just there is no innocence left in children nowadays.
He's the smartest guy in the whole movie. He was the one who's like, "Oh, get out of here, run!" Right.
And then you compare it to the babysitter, who the babysitters in the first one are actually banging, or this one said she's just going to dry hump the guy. So it was just a weird switcheroo.
It was. Okay,
leave it to me to focus on that.
I need to make sure I don't just spend the next half an hour shitting on this movie. I thought all the nods to the other movies were outstanding. They weren't just wink wink either, where it's just ridiculous and it stops the movie. But if you've seen and liked the other movies, you got it. So my wife has seen the first one and that's it. So, and she saw it, probably when we were in college. She didn't get all the winks and the nods, and the story just flowed. But for me, I was like, oh, that was great. Oh, that was beautiful.
Ham sandwich lady.
Yeah, the music, all that stuff to me was outstanding. And even I loved the line, it might have been my favorite line in the movie, when Jamie Lee Curtis sees the new guy who's taking place for Loomis. She goes, "Oh, you're the new Dr. Loomis." And I was like, that is just brilliant. That was great. It's exactly what the audience is thinking, and she just said it. So I thought that was solid.
And he's no Dr. Loomis.
And they even addressed the whole thing with, I heard it was his sister. No, that's just a story people made up. Like they were.
I thought that was great. And then they bring it to making sure he's the babysitter killer. So now you've really set this up, but then they didn't do it. I don't know.
I actually kind of like that, almost like the shark in Jaws. He just, when he gets into the neighborhood, he just kind of veers off into some houses and starts killing people randomly.
Yeah, it was just like Michael Myers.
Scenes.
Not.
It was just like there's no prediction. Like you don't know what he's going to do.
And I don't know, what was Hunter's gripe there?
I said just like Michael Myers was not in the first one.
Yes, he was.
No, he was targeting those babysitters.
Yeah, but he only targeted Lori in the first one because she walked up to the house and then walked away. So then he saw her.
Or you could think because his sister was babysitting him and fucking around, so he had a thing against babysitters.
I actually have never thought about him targeting babysitters from watching that first movie. Huh.
Yeah, because he kills other people besides babysitters, their boyfriends.
Well, just one guy who happens to just be there. That's it. He's got a low body count.
It is a low body count, but it's not.
But he has.
It was more random. But
I always thought in the first one there's like a purpose. There's my sister's supposed to be babysitting me. She's banging the boyfriend. I kill her. Now I'm older. Now I just freaking hate babysitters.
I mean, you could be right. I don't know. I literally never thought of it like that. I just always thought it was kind of random. And I loved that part in this when he's walking down the street during Trick or Treat, which is another problem I had with the movie. But he's standing in the driveway, just looks this way. Oh, I'm going to go kill them. I thought that was cool.
So did I.
I really dug that. But it also led to one of my other issues with this movie is that I thought was it not scary? I didn't find it that scary. And I think it was because almost all the kills were instant. He just walks in, kills them, walks out. So I felt like there wasn't a lot of tension. Whereas, I don't know, maybe it was just the way the trailer was cut. I don't know.
There was no tension.
I expected
a couple of parts of tension.
It's titillating murder, but
now there's a scene in the police car when we need to get into spoilers. That had some pretty good tension.
And I wanted more Jamie Lee Curtis. I really wanted more of her because she disappears for chunks.
So let's give a quick synopsis here or whatever, and then let's get to spoilers because I think we need to dig in a little.
Okay.
So who recommend? Do we all recommend it?
Yes,
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good movie.
You will see far worse.
Oh, this year?
Oh my God, you'll see mostly worse.
This is guaranteed in my top 10. So.
Right.
Yeah, I had a good time with this movie, and like I said, the bar was set so low for Halloween movies that I thought this was a very fresh, a nice little kind of reboot of the whole thing. And while my problems with the movie, and I'm going to talk about it more in spoiler, I have nothing to do with what your problems were with this movie. So I'll get to it when we.
Not enough nudity.
That was a huge piece of it, but
actually,
not even that.
That was a little bit of a problem for me.
Yeah, Jesus.
But I would definitely say it's one of the better horror movies this year, but it's not the classic we were hoping for.
The only nudity is the scene of him killing his sister.
Yep.
Who on the big screen, her boobs look really big.
She was very talented.
Send your letters to Jason Brant at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's my email address. Send them right there.
Yep. So yes, we all agree you should see this. I'm picking at it only because I was frustrated. I enjoyed myself, but I there were just things thematically I think they could have done that they didn't do.
Okay, so now we're in spoilers. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to hear it, turn it off here and come back.
Spoilers.
Nice.
Can
you do one with earmuffs?
Earmuffs.
Oh, that sounds gross. Some muffs.
So where this movie really goes off the rails, which is part of the fun of it, is the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis is now Sarah Connor, and she builds a house that is basically a trap
It's awesome.
for him. It's awesome, but it also is where the movie becomes like you're now. This is the whole Halloween, the original Halloween movie. You kind of felt like you're really in a neighborhood with a guy stalking people in the neighborhood with a knife, and you were totally watching a movie now once you get to that house. And I'm not complaining about it, but that was where I was like, okay, this has become much more of a fantasy movie now than just a flat out horror slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I enjoyed it, and I thought there was some great stuff that happened there, that's where I was like, okay, this is kind of like two movies. Like, and I liked what they did with it, but there was a lot of Terminator 2. I just felt like happening here.
She must have spent a lot of money on that house.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I was hoping for that they did with this is dispel the myth that Michael is not human, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing would have made me happier than to see him in a big confrontation with Jamie Lee, grab his left arm and drop dead of a stroke.
Yeah,
that would have been
starts getting
freaking
woozy
awesome.
from blood loss.
Right, exactly. He gets up and he's a little dizzy because he got up too fast.
Or he just pulls a hammy.
So the Jamie Lee Curtis thing, I actually thought her character was incredibly well done because it was Linda Hamilton from T2, but with so much PTSD, she's non-functional otherwise.
Right.
So I thought they did such a good job with her character from that perspective. But then I thought some of the stuff with the whole boyfriend thing, which I wanted to hear what you had to say about that. They could have cut that character out and I wouldn't have given a crap. I didn't understand why we had to see all that stuff at the beginning for no reason.
Right.
I thought it was interesting because generally that character would die. You know, he was a jerk, so he dies. His whole purpose was to get her cell phone out of the equation.
Oh, good Lord. There were much quicker ways to do this.
She could have fallen on it and broken it or something.
Yeah.
But
Like
I actually, I thought it was a very interesting choice to just let him go, and then instead they kill the friend zone guy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I looked at that as almost like No Country for Old Men, where sometimes stuff happens and you're like, wow, that was kind of abrupt, or whoa, this guy didn't end up confronting this guy. And it was just like, well, that's because it's not always tied up in a neat bow. So when that guy just sort of was a dick to her, and then he went this way and he avoided getting killed because he was a dick to her and he left, and so he lived. I kind of like that. I didn't have to have closure on him because the plot veered away from that guy, so he was safe.
Yeah, it drove me utterly crazy.
Yeah, if that was his reason, then there was no
They
reason.
could have just cut him out. And it takes me to my other issue. Well, I've got a couple, but I both liked and did not like that they killed the podcasters right away. I liked it
too
because
close to home.
I didn't expect it.
That guy was such a douche.
I didn't expect that these people who were in the first 20 minutes of the movie to just be gone. But at
Those
the same
kills
time,
were awesome.
Yes, they were outstanding, and I totally dug the scene. But it was another one of those like, oh god, like we just wasted 20 minutes on these people.
Yeah, they could have been killed way earlier,
or way later. And here's what I would do. I thought the twist with the doctor was stupid.
Oh my god!
I thought I thought that was so dumb.
Actually, it's vital to the whole movie.
It is
100%.
That's how Michael gets to the house, right?
That's how everything happens. Why would you let a guy come up and hold a freaking mask up to the killer? Nobody would ever allow that. How does Michael Myers escape? All the like that would never happen is plausible because that doctor behind the scenes has orchestrated it so Michael could escape. So he is a plot device that the writers used to be like, why would you let this doctor in? Why would you let the podcaster in? How, he maneuvered it so the mask would be shown to Michael because he wanted to see the reaction to it. He's the reason Michael got loose on the bus, so he orchestrated everything. So you can't watch this movie and go, well, that's ridiculous. Why would that happen? That guy behind the scenes was doing it all.
If that's the case, they needed to show a little more.
Jack, you're 100% right. That's exactly why they did it, and I cannot stand it. Like I cannot stand it. What I would have done is used the podcasters as the device to get him the mask later on. Like they bought it at an auction or something. People buy all that weird shit. And like how do they find her house? The podcasters know where her house is. So have them doing it, and you could have just cut out that terrible twist 3/4 of the way through. And I think you could have achieved the exact same things, kept those two characters in it a little longer, and gotten rid of the crap twist. But I'm not writing big Hollywood movies. I write stupid novels, but that's how I would have gotten around not having to do that twist that I freaking hated.
I would have loved if Jamie Lee Curtis is the survivalist. Her daughter grew up with it and doesn't shun it. It's a part of her, but she's trying to live her life. The granddaughter is a snowflake college student who lobbies to have him released and is the reason he's out. That I would have loved to have seen. But anyway, that's just my personal thing.
Get released?
Yeah.
The guy who hasn't spoken in 40 years.
Yeah. It's unfair that he's in jail and do one of these petitions and gets him out, gets a lawyer and gets him out.
So anyway, if you get back to the scene where the doctor locks her in the back seat of the car with unconscious Michael Myers, that's probably the most tense scene in the whole.
Yes, movie. I agree. In fact, that in even the bathroom scene where the podcasters were killed, I thought was cool, but it wasn't super intense.
The violence in that scene is what makes that. I know Hunter doesn't like to see good kills, so he didn't like that scene,
but that's not what this is supposed to be about. But whatever.
But the car scene, that was intense. And I don't know, but even the way that ended with the coolest kill in the movie, it's like, what did he think he was going to do to him? Did he think they were going to be a tag team?
I was worried at one point he's going to put the mask on. He will be Michael Myers for the rest of the movie.
I was so concerned. I was like,
I looked at my daughter. I said, I'm fucking out of here if this happens. And she's like, yeah, don't worry. We're both out.
So my last complaint is the cops in this were so inept to the point of ridiculous.
At least didn't have that stupid clown music when they were on screen.
This guy, this guy who's a crazy killer escapes, has killed a bunch of people, is in your town, and you're still having trick or treat? I'm pretty sure that's not how that happens. Your sheriff is driving up to you and he stops and turns in the middle of the road and doesn't answer your calls. You don't just saunter up to the car,
No.
So I really struggled with that aspect of it too. But and again, these are things that just kind of chipped away at the greatness. I feel like if they'd fixed a couple of these, I would have just enjoyed the hell out of it. Jack, you mentioned the friend who gets killed, the friend zone guy. I thought that was great. I thought they did a cool job with that. It was brilliant with the motion detecting light. That was such a cool setup. I dug that. That was great.
And that awkward, almost like Boogie Nights when, what's his name, tries to kiss Mark Wahlberg. He goes in for the kiss.
Oh, God.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
When he does that, and then he's like, oh, damn.
I should throw out, the tall one did not really care for this movie very much.
You know what? The tall one and I. Simpatico.
Her biggest complaint were the disappearing characters, and she didn't think it was scary at all.
Right.
Which sucks.
See, because, Jack, you keep bringing up kills and stuff. That's not what Halloween's about. That's what Friday the 13th is about and Nightmare on Elm Street.
What was that? Can I get a replay of that?
You can use that in a GIF. What was I going to say? You know what? What I learned here is that John Carpenter is John Carpenter. He's singular, and there's nobody that can imitate him or even come close to what he does, no matter how you try.
You didn't like the curb stomp?
It was all right. I mean,
I loved it.
Yeah, something, dude. We got to take your horror card away for a week.
Why?
Because the curb stomp was the best.
I love the curb stomp. Not gonna lie.
Wait, do you guys think that there's going to be a sequel?
All right, cool. I'm glad you brought that up because the sequel. Did you stay till the end? No, you didn't.
No, nobody did.
Well, see, if you're a real movie critic podcaster like you should be, you got to stay till the end, dude.
I don't do that shit. I'm out.
You don't.
If it's any good, show it in the fucking movie. Don't make me wait till after the credits to
didn't
show me
stay
your
either.
throwaways.
I look everything up, but to see if there's an after credits, and I just didn't even think about it with this.
All you really missed was they don't even show anything. You hear
Thor came out.
you hear Michael Myers breathing at the end of the credits.
Christ, how?
So,
Well, you saw the shot where he wasn't in the basement anymore, right?
well, they
No.
never showed the body, which in Halloween 2.
Yeah, we're gonna blow him up again and bring him back.
So here's my thing: they're definitely going to make a sequel to this movie,
Well, now they made too much money not to.
right? And I feel like a sequel is going to just ruin everything that happened. They should just end it now, and then if you want, reboot it or something, because this is a nice close the loop on the whole. Michael's hand got cut up; he was blown up. Mission accomplished. Let's move on. Or if you do go back, make a different Michael Myers, like somebody else comes up through the ranks and there's a new Michael Myers.
Oh, the little girl.
Or something.
Put him in a nursing home with Bubba Hotep and Elvis and JFK.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Actually, it is. That's awesome.
That I'd watch.
But the sequels are going to go down the same road that the original ones did. And now you're going to just turn into, oh, he was dead. Well, not really. And it's going to get ridiculous.
So
Probably.
they showed the one shot right before the movie ended of the burning basement, and he was not in it. So I knew before. I obviously didn't stay after the credits, and I just assumed he lived.
How did he get out?
I did love the part.
7 years old. How nimble and lithe can the man be?
Judy Greer. We didn't talk about her at all. I love this couple of things. Number one, she's wearing a Christmas sweater because she has just grown to hate her mother's illness so much that she's like, no Halloween, we're going straight to Christmas.
Yep.
And then the whole thing where she's like, Mom, I can't do it. Gotcha.
That was
one of the great moments in that movie.
Yes,
That's my favorite scene in the movie.
that was brilliant.
A little bit of the real her kicked in.
But right before that, something that bothered me was that her husband is just gone. She never even addresses it.
I know, no mourning.
Not concerned at all. Where's my husband? I'm not going down there without him. Where is nothing? She just
He was an awesome dude too.
Now, Jason takes the time to hollow out a skull and create a human jack-o'-lantern. And I would have a problem with that, except that in the first one, doesn't he like move the whole tombstone into like the house?
He does pick that up.
So he does definitely have a Martha Stewart side of him, where he's very, very crafts oriented. So there you go.
Escape.
It looked cool with the flashlight in the neck.
Yeah, that did look very cool.
But yeah, it sounds like I've just been shitting on this, but so many great nods, so many the musical cues in this were the shit.
Yeah.
There was so much great stuff with that.
It was a nice little nostalgia romp for the evening.
Did you think about it all, like in Watchmen when Rorschach gets his mask back? And I kept thinking, my God, how's he going to get his mask back? Because in the Watchmen book, he had an extra mask. In the Watchmen movie, he goes to the office where the mask is stored. The most coincidental thing is that Jason or the Shape happens to go to the right gas station at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was very fortunate there.
Was it Halloween 2 where he kills someone in a gas station?
First one, he kills. You don't see it happen, but he kills someone in the gas station. That's how he gets the overalls.
Okay, I thought there was another one where he stabs someone with. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen Halloween 2. The only thing I remember is the end. He shoots him in the eyes.
I remember he lifts up the nurse with the.
Yeah, that and Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman, give me a dream.
Okay.
Did you see the kids with the Halloween 3 masks trick-or-treating?
Yes.
I didn't see that. Oh, that's great.
Which Halloween 3 is still my second favorite in the series.
I'm not even crazy about that movie.
I love Halloween 3, but it's also very weird.
It's super trippy.
It's very cheesy at the end.
Hey, I'm Irish. I love anything about killer druids.
That's Tom fucking Atkins, too.
That's right. Again, banging whores.
Then there's a van that has resurrection on the side of it. It's like a Christian van, says resurrection.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
No. Wow. Okay, see, there's even more than I recognized. That's See that stuff?
No.
I thought that all that stuff was great.
No Danielle Harris.
Hmm.
She's been in as many Halloweens as Jamie Lee Curtis now, I think.
That's not a positive.
Not necessarily, no.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen Resurrection. I think Halloween H2O just wrecked it for me. I was done.
Oh, I saw Resurrection.
Towards the end there, I started skipping them or only seeing like part of them on the Sci-Fi Channel.
You have missed nothing.
Yeah, once they did the one where they broke him out of jail, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cool." And then I watched the sequel to that, and it was so bad that it's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I don't think
a
anyone was
question.
even paying attention in the end.
Which series? Because we always talk about which series is better, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Which is worse, Halloween or Hellraiser?
Ooh,
That's
I think
tough.
Hellraiser.
Wow. I'm going to have to say Hellraiser only because Halloween at least has decent bookends.
Hellraiser has 1 and 2, and everything else makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, they're
Halloween
really...
has, well, I guess 1, 2, and this, right? Or 1.
Well,
2,
here's the
3
thing
and this,
about
however you
A
say
lot
it.
of people love 4. I think 4 is all right.
Even the worst Halloween movies, you could flick it on and enjoy it on a surface. Hey, the last few Donald Pleasance one, you're like, okay, you get a little more
He
Loomis in
looks
there.
sick.
Yeah, you get some good kills and whatever. There's a little nostalgia. So even if it's not a great movie, it's kind of like the bad Nightmare on Elm Street movies. There's still some great Freddy moments in all of them that you're like, yeah, start to finish, this movie sucks, but that scene's awesome. So I think, whereas Hellraiser, you just watch something. Oh my god, they're abominable.
Those are rough,
The
really
one
rough.
where they make the Cenobites and the one guy's made out of CDs. Like, that's his Cenobite.
That's the third one, isn't it?
It's the third one. It's so bad.
I've seen the third one a million times. I have a soft spot for that one.
God
so
bless you.
bad.
That's the one where the guy's having sex with the girl, and the block with Pinhead is in it, and then it like shoots the. I love that scene. The hooks out.
I haven't seen the space one.
Oh, God.
There's one with Kari Wurr, my girlfriend Kari Wurr. Or someone.
Yeah, I remember her.
There was one that clearly wasn't a Hellraiser movie. The guy was a detective, and he was checking out this weird shit, and at the end they're like, "Oh, you're in hell. I'm Pinhead." Arr."
Sucker.
I'm Pinhead. Ah.
That was exactly what it sounded like, yeah.
Well, at least we all agree that Hellraiser is by far the worst. The worst.
Yep.
All right, well, that wraps it up for this episode. Next week, we're going to subject ourselves to the remake of Suspiria.
Listen, I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I think it's got promise, and hopefully I'm not. I mean, I'm trying not to set the bar too high, but I feel good
The good
about
news
this.
is my levels of anticipation for Halloween were way too high, and my levels of anticipation for this are non-existent.
Way
So,
low.
The only thing I heard that this one's really long. I heard this one's like over 2 hours. So,
Oh, awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
I just went from 0 expectations to like -6.
I'm going to need a designated driver.
The cast of this movie, though, you got Tilda Swinton, you got Chloe Grace Moretz. Did you see? You guys didn't watch Sharp Objects.
No.
One of the girls from Sharp Objects, one of the best girls from Sharp Objects is in this.
The girl from A Cure from Wellness is in it. I forget her
And
name.
then Dakota Johnson, which I want to see that movie, the El Royale movie that's out right now.
Yeah.
With her, and that looks pretty fun.
My daughter said you have to pay attention to too many things in that movie. So it made her think, and it hurt her.
Should I watch 50 Shades of Grey in anticipation of this?
Oh yeah,
Pants off, dance off.
that's why I'm going to get a 4K player. I want to get there.
At this point for Suspiria, if I can follow the storyline, I'll be happy.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. We shall see.
Yep.
So tune
Just
in
get a large popcorn and a big drink.
and pee often.
Take a flask.
So tune in next Tuesday, 8:00, or listen to us on YouTubes and iTunes and everywhere else you can hear our blather. And please rate us, love us, like us, spread the word. That's it for now. So long, Michael Myers lovers.
Trick or treat.
Hey.